Thank God William is the future king. Still proof Harry is mean-spirited, nasty, and jealous.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
Yesterday, while I was browsing the internet, I came across an article from Daily Mail. It was claiming that Harry and William had some ridiculous fight over beards. The article claimed that Harry accused William of bristling with jealousy. Reading through the article, it was immediately obvious that it was old news, but the new perspective here is that after a little while, we can look back and see what Harry has really been like this entire time. This article said, one of the strangest disputes of all must surely have been the row over whether or not the groom was allowed to wear a beard, according at least to Harry in his book Spare. In Harry's version of the story, William went so far as to try and ban his beard, telling Harry it wasn't appropriate. And then Harry claims he gave William a quick history lesson. Of course, with the help of Google, though. And he showed William some pictures of royal ancestors who did have beards and they wore uniforms, like Edward VII and George V. A beard was thought by some to be a clear violation of protocol and long-standing norms, especially since I was getting married in my army uniform, explains Harry. He says beards were forbidden in the British Army. But when Harry said that he had already been given permission by their grandmother to keep the beard, he says William became livid. Harry reports that William said, "You put her in an uncomfortable position, Harold. She had no choice but to say yes." Why is he like this? I mean, seriously, according to Harry, everything is just this big fight, even when he's talking about something so unimportant that anybody else just would have laughed. I mean, it's true, he put the Queen in a very difficult position of having to say yes to him, just so that he could feel right about something that he made up completely in his own head. The late Queen said it best, recollections may vary. I mean, even Harry admits that his memory is a bit unreliable to say the least, thanks to certain substance abuse issues. He'll also tell a story and act like it was a personal experience when he wasn't even there. Instead, he just depends on what other people told him. As usual, Harry was just trying to make William look bad, and as usual, Harry failed. This story really just tells us that William cares about doing the right thing. He takes his role seriously. Actually, this story only made me respect William more. This story only makes it more clear that Harry has been jealous of his older brother the whole time. In Spare, Harry goes on to say that William wouldn't let it go, and that the argument kept on in person on the phone for more than a week, he says. And according to Harry, it all culminated with William ordering him to shave his beard. Now, William has never said anything about these claims, of course not. He doesn't give his side of the story because he's not going to stoop to that level. I swear, what must that ghostwriter have been thinking when he heard all this ridiculous stuff from Harry? Who would think that anybody wants to read about some petty fights between brothers? My goodness. I mean, forget about the fact that William did not agree to all this information about him being put out there. The information itself is just so stupid. Who would care about this? So of course, William doesn't want a relationship with Harry at this point. How could he? Harry acts like a toddler. It seems like he just wants to cause his brother and his brother's family as many problems as possible. And we can really say the same for the way he treats his father and his stepmother. And I don't understand why it matters what kings did 100 years ago. Harry's never going to be a king, number one. Number two, Harry needs to focus on modern protocol. What is the protocol like today? That's what he should have been focusing on following. But I guess Harry just wants to do whatever he wants to do, much like that narcissistic woman he married. So that's why he had to go run to his grandmother to ask for special permission, putting her in such an uncomfortable position. It was his wedding. How was she going to say no? I still don't understand, though, how Harry believes himself to be better than his brother in any way, shape, or form. William is smarter, he's certainly a lot better looking, one day he's going to be king. William has a gorgeous wife who's also very intelligent and also very kind. They have 3 beautiful children. What exactly does Harry have that William could possibly be jealous of him for? Well, Harry has a controlling, narcissistic, evil serpent as a wife. I don't think William's going to be jealous of that. I know that she's convinced Harry she is his mother reincarnated, and clearly Harry has some real issues, an Oedipus complex, if you will. And I know that Meghan has told Harry how great and wonderful she is, but I don't see that she's done anything to justify that opinion. Now, she does try pretty hard to make people like her, and she falls flat on her face every single time because she has no humility. She only cares about herself, and that's very obvious. Somebody should really have educated Meghan about what Diana was like as a person. Diana actually cared about people. She cared about people who nobody else cared about. She cared about people who were suffering, impoverished. She even arranged meetings with governments and helped raise money to remove landmines. She worked so hard to help AIDS patients, and she worked hard to educate girls who wouldn't have received an education otherwise. Diana didn't need a glam squad to go with her to Africa. Instead, Diana just brought a film crew along, and she did that because she wanted to be able to bring attention to people who needed help. And she never whined about how she was feeling, unlike Meghan Markle. Such a slap in the face to Diana's memory. Meghan is nothing like her. She could never, ever come close to her. Meghan claims that she's this philanthropist, but she doesn't show any empathy towards anybody, unless, of course, there's a camera crew there and she can get a photo. She's so fake, and she's such a hypocrite. She loves to hop up on that soapbox and tell us how we need to be kind to everybody, but at the same time, she thinks it's perfectly acceptable to cut her own father out of her life, even though her father has begged her to come and meet with him so that he can say sorry. And there's no reason for that. I know what she claims he did, but that still does not justify the way she is treating him now. Look, I know Diana also knew how to manipulate the press, but at least she would manipulate the press to bring attention to some good causes. Meghan only does that to bring attention to herself, and we all know that is not a worthy cause. Unlike Meghan, Diana was classy, and most importantly, she was genuine. Sure, Diana did that Martin Bashir interview, but let's remember she was coerced. When they found out what they had lied to Diana about to get her to do that interview, I was disgusted. I think everybody was. So I do not believe for 1 second that Diana should be judged based on that interview. Look, I know it's not the nicest thing to say, but let's be real here. Harry is not very bright. Sure, he can have a conversation, and because of his upbringing, he can hold his own to a certain level. And I'm sure he has access to a lot of important people and a lot of important information. So then Meghan entered his life. She is a bit more intelligent than him. I mean, more evil for sure, but also more intelligent. But she doesn't have the connections. She doesn't have the upbringing that he had. She doesn't have access like he does. And she knows that his level of access and information could really help her out. So she worked hard to get him. And she is smart enough to know that she's going to have to stay in control if she's going to keep him in that relationship. And she's a narcissist, so she immediately went to work to isolate him from his friends and family. She knew that this was only going to work for her if he was completely dependent on her. And she did that by convincing him that she's basically a duplicate of his late mother. She would even wear Diana's favorite perfume and stuff like that. And this is exactly why Harry is still stuck in that relationship. And you, do you agree with me? If yes, please like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it. If not, please tell me why, and we can also discuss your opinions.
Please don't forget to subscribe to our The King YouTube channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Bye. I love you all. I'm away.